And joining me right now here on the Mark Moses Show is probably one of the biggest wrestlers in the world right now. She is the AEW Women's World Champion. She is the super awesome Mariah May. Mariah, how you doing today?
I'm very good. What a great introduction.
Was I missing anything? Like the glamour? What else did I need in there?
Well, I mean, yeah, we could go on about my accolades, but that will do.
This week, you defended your title and retained it, and it was a big moment for you, and it was supposed to close out 2024. But then Toni Storm showed up to end the show. What happened exactly? We need the insight.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about Toni Storm. I don't care that she's back. I don't care that she's dressed the way she's dressed, coming out to her old song. I don't care, okay? I only care about me and anyone who's in my way, which right now is Thunder Rosa.
I see that. Back in the summer, you were there at Wembley Stadium. I know you're originally from London. How amazing was that, especially with your career, to win the championship in your home country like that?
I mean, it was very cool, but honestly, my favorite part was ending Toni Storm's career, which is why I'm not really sure what she's doing, fumbling around in her old costume. But for me, retiring, timeless Toni Storm, everyone's beloved favorite character, putting her in the grave was really my favorite part of all of that. It could have been in London, it could have been in America, it could have been in Antarctica. I don't really care.
You look at your career over the last, I'd say, 4 years, and, just looking at the Wikipedia page and all these notes and the AW website, you've been in all of these different countries performing, wrestling. How amazing has it been for you the last couple of years growing as a professional wrestler?
I mean, it's been amazing to have these opportunities. The beautiful thing about wrestling is it's different in every country, and the style is different and the people are different. So I came up on the British independent scene. I took myself all over Europe. I went to Japan for a 1-month tour and just stayed there, just decided to move on a whim. And then now I'm lucky enough to be able to move to America and be on AEW and be on television, which is a new thing for me in my rookie year. And I think people don't see it as my rookie year because I've surpassed the entire women's division so quickly. But it is my rookie year, and I feel very fortunate that I've been able to see so many different places in the world and, more importantly, wrestle so many different places in the world, but also that comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice.
Did you set goals for yourself back in January? Like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I mean, how did you look at 2024? And do you feel like you've accomplished all those things?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my big goal was just ending Toni Storm, and I feel that I did that. I get that there's a bit of confusion right now. I think we're all pretty confused about what happened on Dynamite, but I don't care. I don't care what she's up to. It's none of my business. All I know is I came in. I wanted to be the number one wrestler in the women's division. I wanted to be the world champion, not the TBS champion or any other mid-card title. I wanted to be the world champion, the top girl, and I did that in my rookie year.
What does it take to be Mariah May, the world champion, then?
It takes a lot of ingredients that many people, in fact, everyone does not have. It takes being cutthroat. It takes being very hardworking, very ambitious, very clever, very scheming, and most importantly, glamorous, which, as you can tell, not a single woman in that locker room can touch me.
My favorite promo you did this year, I watch it over and over again because I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and my aunt and uncle love the University of Illinois. You were there in Champaign, Illinois. You came out, okay? It is the best. I think it's the promo of the year. You come out and you make fun of just the name Champagne. How much fun was that to go out to that crowd and talk trash to them?
Well, you have to understand I'm British. So for me, I don't know anything about America. And when I hear Champagne, I'm thinking glamour. I'm thinking Mina and I, we love Champagne. Our whole tag team in Japan was based on that. And so I'm very, very excited. I'm just coming back from London, a very long flight. I've just become the world champion. I want to go and celebrate. And then I go into Champagne. And then I see what it actually looks like. So I don't think I'll be returning.
What's it like? I ask this to every professional wrestler, and I appreciate coming on. What's that like? Okay, Mariah, you're going to go on 2 minutes. We need you to trash this crowd of 20,000 people. What's going on in your mind right before your music hits?
Well, actually, nobody asked me to do that. Tony Khan is from there and has a very soft spot for Champaign. I think he studied there. He works there. So he's like, how exciting. It's in my home, where I came up, where I studied. Like, you get to celebrate in Champaign. I don't think they realized the gravity of what I was going to say.
No, they didn't. I like you started to smile. You started laughing because I know you like that. I want to switch to this. When you were growing up in England, did you want to be in professional wrestling when you were a kid? Like, how did this start for you?
Yeah, so I had two older brothers. I still have them. They haven't gone anywhere. But I grew up with two older brothers, and we watched wrestling all the time, and I always wanted to do it. But in the UK, it's not such a big thing, especially when I was a kid. There was virtually no schools. And so I kind of went into other things. I was doing a little bit of like modeling and acting, and my full-time job was an accountant, which is a far cry from wrestling. And then one day I found a school that opened up near me, and the rest is kind of history. I just used to train every single class they ran. I would drive after work, drive at the weekends, and just put a year of training into it before I did a show. And then, like I said, I just hustled, and I just try to travel and get my name out there and build a brand on social media because I felt like that was a way I could get noticed and nobody else could. And I think my parents, honestly, until Wembley Stadium, did not get it. So I think, they're very supportive, but they didn't understand, any of the things I'm doing. They're like, you could do anything you want, and you choose to do this. And, I moved away to Japan. I think they still, they thought it was cool, but they didn't get it. And then I think for them seeing it in the flesh at Wembley Stadium was like, oh, okay, this is what wrestling is.
Did your brothers, did they also want to be part of wrestling, or was this more like, all right, we're going to help our sister do this?
No, this was just a solo mission. They liked it when they were kids, and then, one stopped watching it, and then the other one stopped watching it, and I was just left as a lone ranger, but, I did it for all of us.
What did you take out of your experience going to Japan for that time?
Oh, gosh, so much. I feel like I grew a lot as a person as well as a wrestler, just living completely alone, not being able to see my family at all, being on a totally different time zone. I think people underestimate that. And, when you wake up, nobody is awake. So you'll spend like the first kind of 6-7 hours of your day and, you don't have anybody. But I think for me, it was just proof of how much I really wanted this. And I didn't feel, lonely or sad or any of those things because I was so engrossed in wrestling and so passionate about getting better and improving and going to the dojo every day and asking the girls to come with me. And they were so generous with their time and helping me improve and basically training me to be a killer so I could walk into AEW and take everything. Was there a moment in your career where it started to click? Like, okay, I can do this. This is going to this is my job. This is not like, oh, for fun, I could do this. Was there a stop along your way where it started to click for you? I don't think there was a stop along the way where it's like, oh, I can do this. I think you always have to believe you can do something. Otherwise, there is no point in wasting your time trying. I think you always have to believe in yourself. And I think for me, wrestling has not been one straight and simple journey. Even as I said, when I started, there weren't even schools. So I was just trying to build a brand on social media, which is not a conventional way to become a wrestler. But It was just like, what can I do to even try to progress this thing? Because I feel like time is ticking. And so for me, I think there was a point where it clicked when I was doing the indies, and wrestling in front of maybe 10 people. And there were different things starting, like when AEW started. AEW wasn't here 5 years ago, and we forget that because of how huge AEW is, but it's a baby. And so when I started, there wasn't, when I was trying to start, there wasn't AEW. So I think for me, the big lesson has always been, don't have a set goal per se, because wrestling as an industry is so exciting. It changes all the time. Opportunities change. And when I started, I didn't even know about wrestling in Japan. And then once I found wrestling in Japan, I wanted nothing else for years. And so I think where it clicked was just realizing that there isn't a set kind of journey and way to achieve these things. I mean, maybe there is for some people, but for me, especially being British and coming up in the indies, I knew that I was going to have a different path from other people, and that's fine. And just working really hard at a lot of different things to try and prove myself. And I always knew my end goal was America, for sure, and being on television, because I think that's where I would shine best. But how I get there and where I land, you know, I was just super open to whatever opportunity there is, because it's always an exciting time to learn and meet new people and learn different styles of wrestling. So I wouldn't say it particularly clicked, but it was just realizing, like, just get up every day and give it 100%, and it's going to happen.
That was fantastic. Has that been inside for a while, and you've been trying to get that answer out? Because that's what it sounded like, Mariah. It was awesome. It really was.
No, this has been the struggle of my life. No, I think because sometimes people say, like, oh, well, what advice do you give, like, someone who wants to be a wrestler? And I think that is the best advice, because wrestling is such a confusing kind of destination. There's so many different styles of wrestling, and everybody wants different things. I mean, you could actually be an independent wrestler and live off of that now. So it's a very exciting industry. It changes a lot. And I think the biggest advice I would give is, like, hey, there is, you know, especially, like I said, being British, like, you can't just, there is a lot more in America, depending on what state you live in, more schools, you know, there's AEW, there's other companies. So for me, it was always just like, okay, just every day wake up and try and do one thing to further, like, your brand or your training or even going to the gym. Just try and take one step forward. So I find it really tough when people are like, what advice did you give them? Because there isn't a set path or way to do these things.
We're with Mariah May, AEW Women's World Champion. You keep bringing up you're British. Like, do you have a chip on your shoulder and something to prove? Because that's what it sounds like. Like, yeah, I'm not from America. I'm not from Japan. I'm from the UK. Is that how it feels for you?
Yeah, we're at a disadvantage. No, I mean, I love that I'm British because I feel like I stand out. But no, I think it's just nice because it's like I said, when I was coming up in the UK, I mean, there was Saraya, who has had an incredible career, and she's so young, but she started so young and she's achieved so much. But I think the more kind of foreign people, I mean, at AEW, we have a lot of people from all over Europe. We have a lot of people from Japan. I just wrestled Mina Shirakawa in the main event of Dynamite, and I think it's a really nice thing that AEW is doing. It's very international, and I think that's really hopeful to people who live in different countries and where wrestling might not be as big or it's different, to know that you could land in AEW, you could be on television, you could be in America. It doesn't matter if you're from a different country and it might take you longer to get there, like, you can get there. So I think that's a really nice message and a really nice value that AEW has. No,
it's a great answer. I want you to know I've been to London 6 different times. I love it. I'm
proud of you.
I love it. I love it so much. My best way to describe it is I'm like, hey, you ever been to New York City? Well, imagine a more elegant, nicer, cleaner city. Okay?
Well, hey, it depends where you go in London.
This is true.
Some of it is not elegant, I'll tell you that.
Where did you grow up in the city?
Gosh, so I moved around so much when I was younger. So I was born near Tottenham, which not so elegant. I lived in a ton of different places in London. I moved to Australia for a year. Then we came back and we live in kind of the countryside, which is beautiful. It's the best place in the UK, I think, is the countryside. And then I moved to Japan and then America. I think since I was a kid, I've been living out of boxes.
It's okay. Look, I completely understand. I've lived in 5 different states in this country for my career. There are times I drive around and then, like, hey, let's go to this store. Oh, wait, we don't live there anymore. Like, that's how my brain works sometimes. And you understand what I'm saying there. Okay, for all of our soccer fans, football fans, what team do you support?
Arsenal, of course.
Why? Why Arsenal? Why them?
Because I'm from there. My mom and dad support Arsenal. My family are football crazy. So I've always watched soccer growing up. I call it soccer now just to skip to it. I really succumb to American culture. Like, I say trunk, not boot. I say status, not status, or whatever, whichever way it is. I've just given up. So I'm going to call it soccer. Anyone in the UK, just forgive me. I'm making my own life easier, but no, we love soccer. That's like a big thing in our house. And then growing up, we always used to go to the games, go to the Emirates and go, like, where did it used to be? When I was younger, it was somewhere else. And there's, like, pictures of us as kids, like, just walking down the streets with, like, all, like, the flags and, like, celebrating. And no, so it's Arsenal for life. It has to be.
I root for Chelsea. I'm sorry. That's who I support.
Yeah, we were getting on so well.
Yeah, we were. My favorite part with the language barrier, the weirdest thing. Okay, so you have lift. There's the lift. Also, There's no basements. You get on an elevator. It's -1, -2. That's the thing that weirds me out. Also, I needed to get a Band-Aid once at a pharmacy, and it's called a plaster.
Plaster.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, even that, you're like, plaster.
That's my favorite. But I have my card for the tube, my Oyster card. I keep it with me at all times. It's very important.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm all in. Don't worry. Okay, have you been to Mariah May, the AEW Women's World Champion? Have you been to American football yet since you've been here?
Yes, I have. Of course, Tony Khan owns AEW, also owns the Jags, so I went to a game, which is very cool. I got to sit in a very nice little suite, which I feel like was a very nice way to watch football. But no, yeah, I went, and it was really cool. I'm still learning the rules of American football. I feel like there are so many rules, so many. But just to be there in the atmosphere was very, very cool, so I would like to go again.
Have you been to American basketball yet?
Yes, so I actually went, oh gosh, who did I go and see? I went when I was younger, like much, much younger. I went in New York. So who would that be?
The New York Knicks. That's who that'd be.
Yes.
Right? It's okay. You're a busy lady winning championships. You don't have
British.
time. Yes. You don't have time for this.
Too much. The only one I think I haven't seen is baseball.
You'll probably be bored out of your mind. That's what I imagine.
Because I've seen the ice hockey as well.
Did you like that?
I think it's just,
did you like hockey?
I did. I saw, again, the New York Rangers.
Okay, so you saw that.
Right.
Okay, we'll end with this, with the world champ, and I appreciate coming on. First off, I like your MM just like me. We are very unique and prestigious, where it's double M, first name and last name. Okay? This is very key. Not many people get this prestige, accomplishment. So this is why you're very unique. Second, you are the world champ. I know we could check you out coming up at Addition Financial Arena on the campus of UCF for AEW's World's End pay-per-view. This is coming up December 28th. You want tickets? AllEliteWrestling.com. What can we expect from the champ if we're going there to UCF for the big pay-per-view, Mariah?
I mean, well, Florida is kind of my home here. Like, Orlando is my home. I'm technically a hometown girl. Let's just have that. Let's just take that.
Yeah.
But you can expect the same thing you always expect from me, which is the best match on the card, the best entrance on the card, the best costume on the card, and the most interesting match on the card, because I'm the most entertaining person in AEW by a long shot.
I like it. And by the way, back in August when I was in London, there were posters for AEW all around the city, and your photo, like your face was on the poster, and I thought about that, and I thought about while we're talking. So Mariah May, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck for 2025, everything moving forward, and I hope you have a nice holidays with your family, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Happy holidays.